Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Isaiah and today we're going to be a little less depressing. I am recording in the living room today because I wanted to keep an eye on the fish, the new guys that are in the big tank. Specifically this great big dark green tiger barb that we got for free because he is especially a loner, so he didn't want to school with the other tiger barbs, and he is gorgeous, and he came from a breeder who just stopped breeding, so he's the only green tiger barb that there was, and he refuses to school with other tiger barbs, so we took him. But tiger barbs have a tendency to be more aggressive than the other fish I have, so I just want to make sure he's not bullying the other fish on his first day. Otherwise he'll have to go back and maybe find another home. But he seems to be doing pretty well, ignoring our schools of tetras and rasporas, and our pearl gouramis are just all hanging out too. They're doing good. The tank is doing good today. I'm very happy about that. But no, today I'm not talking about fish outside of that, or Minecraft outside of. I apologize if you actually watch this and try and watch me make circles because I'm terrible at it. No, today I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind for the past few days. Fatphobia. And how did it come to my attention? Well, I watch a lot of YouTube, perhaps too much YouTube. And one of the rabbit holes I've gone down, I've learned about a therapist who posts videos named Atkins. Now, she's a pretty cool creator. I am going to link to the specific video I'm talking about below. But the video, Therapist Reacts, Paul and Morgan saying fatphobic things, really caught my attention because I've heard of Paul and Morgan before. If you've not, they're a Christian blogging couple that give really horrible advice and are basically fundamentalist Christians. And I really hate Paul even more than Morgan because he has a tendency to shame her for her past sexual experience when he was the one that chose to not even kiss anyone until their wedding day, if I'm remembering correctly. And I don't know if it's just because I don't like him or if it's because of the people that I grew up around, but I don't believe that he didn't kiss anyone till his wedding day. But that could just be bad faith. Who knows? I don't like him. So Paul and Morgan were talking about the Cosmopolitan magazine cover where there's a heavyset black woman doing yoga in a pose that makes my back hurt. So kudos for her. I will never do that. I will never be flexible. My goal is to fossilize my bones so I end up being perfectly straight, and then I will just have perfect posture, right? That's how it works? Sure. But that started a rabbit hole of just, started noticing fat phobia everywhere, especially in a couple of subreddits. I already talked about one where there was this 18-year-old virgin posting how upset he was that he hadn't had sex yet, and he just graduated high school. And this dude was like, oh, you got to be going to the gym. No one wants an overweight slob that's living in their parents' basement. There's all of that. But there's also a gatekeeping subreddit I follow where they take memes, gatekeeping memes, and they make them gay. It's really cute. You get to see a lot of cool art. You get to see a lot of really good art, too. And I just want to steal the skills from these children and take it for myself. But until I can create that skill drain machine with Dr. Doofenshmirtz, I guess I'm just going to have to keep practicing on my own. And there was one particular gatekeeping meme that got cross-posted from actual lesbians, which I think is the trans-inclusive lesbian subreddit. Yay. But the title made it sound like women never judge other women's bodies. They just love other women's bodies. And the actual comic was about a skinny person and a heavyweight person looking in the mirror. And then the skinny girl is like obsessed with the chubby woman's stomach. And the chubby woman is just really shy and overwhelmed at all the positive attention. And there was a chain of comments that was talking about fat acceptance. And specifically how fat acceptance is okay, body positivity is great, but stuff like the health at every size movement and the BMI being a sham thing those are just obesity enabling. And I guess I just saw red because I knew secondhand that the BMI is actually a bit of a sham, but until then, I didn't bother looking it up or really looking into it. The BMI, the body mass index, the thing that people all over the world use on an individual level to try and determine if you're obese or not, it was invented in 1832 by a Belgian man whose name I can't pronounce at all. And by 1972, people were saying it's generally okay, even though there's better methods out there for population surveys, not for individual use. So why the fuck do we still use it? It can't have anything to do with the people that standardize the numbers for what's overweight and obese and what's a healthy BMI. Also push weight loss drugs and weight loss programs for money. And it can't be because in the US, health insurance companies can charge up to 22% more on your health insurance if you have a overweight obese BMI. And it definitely can't have anything to do with doctors are terrified to work on their patients any more than absolutely necessary. I mean, that's a little more tinfoil hat, but I did read that some of the more accurate ways to tell if you are overweight as an individual tend to be a little more invasive by like having to measure your waist and hips, and it takes a little bit longer. So doctors may be reluctant to do that, but no, it can't have anything to do with that. It really just sounds like at the end of the day, it's time. Time is money. Money. Money is money. Capitalism. Capitalism is telling us to use the BMI. Even though it's completely outdated and there's better methods. And even wasn't made in 1832, was made for a very specific group of men and not meant for widespread use like it is on an individual basis. So, that's cool. It's not like the BMI and people's obsession with their weight causes eating disorders, self-loathing, bad relationships with food, all of this sort of stuff. And some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about later has some overlap with Mickey Atkins' talking points. They are things that I have thought of individually, but because I watched her video before I made this, she's given me the ability to put these things into words. And I want to give her credit where credit is due. Again, watch her video. She's great. It is an hour long, so I mean, if you're driving or you've got some chores to do, pop in those well, not if you're driving, but pop in the headphones, start vacuuming, because that's what I did. So you've got people obsessed with being a certain weight, having their BMI be correct, a completely arbitrary number that is not actually right, and it promotes this stigma against it that creates a culture where you become preoccupied with your weight and you start dieting, and then you get into stuff like yo-yo dieting, which can be very stressful for your body and very bad for it because you'll starve yourself and then you'll start eating. And I remember hearing when I was a kid that if a person's body is used to periodically going through moments of starvation, it may just start storing more fat and trying to burn other calories in other ways, because it's like, okay, you are going to stop eating soon, so let's put this fat back on you. There's also the fact that genetically, everybody everywhere is predisposed to wanting to keep fat on us. It comes from when we were cavemen and having to hunt every day. And the fact that we're squishy and the fat keeps us warm, the fat gives us energy for the days where we couldn't get food. And also that we're more predisposed as an entire species to be sedentary as opposed to active because we move less, we burn less calories. That's you pass on your genetics in the best way possible to the age of you fuck, you make a kid. So you fuck, you make a kid, and it's okay if your kid's chubby because that means they're less likely to starve and grow up and be able to fuck and make another kid. That's how that works. Now, some people have much stronger genetics. I have genetics that seem to be more predisposed to gaining and keeping weight. My grandmother is extremely overweight, and part of the problem was that she had 2 knee surgeries and then didn't do the physical therapy. So that ended up with her being wheelchair bound, which ended up with her not wanting to move because it hurt and it was a lot. So now she's wheelchair bound, she's greatly overweight, and she's having to deal with the side effects of that. My sister and I are also heavier. My mom is not, but she is extremely hard on herself with her body, and she was extremely hard on us growing up, which leads me perfectly into the fact that the reason why that actual lesbian subreddit title post thing upset me so much was because I was socialized as a girl until I was 19, and in many ways I'm still treated as a woman in public by people who don't know because I look like a woman. I probably come off as a butch lesbian most of the time, but you know, to each their own. If the strangers clock me as queer, I'm happy. Um, but women are so mean about other women's bodies, and they are, men are too. I mean, hell, we have the 18-year-old virgin getting told over and over and over again, go to the gym, exercise, eat healthy, eat clean, make money, have fuck. But I guess it just bothered me because it made it sound like women don't hate other women's bodies, and I'm just over here like, excuse me, but my own mother gave me a bit of an eating disorder because I started gaining weight when I hit puberty, and my activities changed to more sedentary ones as well. And she started doing food restrictions and didn't really teach me a healthy relationship with food. Like, we just wouldn't have sweets and stuff. So then I would start eating sugar because I really wanted something sweet. Raw sugar. I don't recommend doing that. It's not very smart. But the people that were always hardest on me about my weight were women, were female family members, were classmates that were also girls, was the women's circle or the high school girls circle at my church. And this obsession with having to be a certain weight, not only does it lead to the eating disorders and the self-loathing and the yo-yo dieting, which is very bad for your body, but it's just a mind fuck. Eating disorders last a person's entire life. That's why you have people who are anorexic or bulimic or any other type of eating disorder. They can be triggered so much more easily, and why they have to be so much more careful. And we have these apps that calculate how many calories you should be eating and what types of food to eat. You have the different fad diets that try to tell you how to eat, and they make it very easy to gamify eating and to ignore your body. So you are becoming much more obsessive with the type of food and the amount of food you're eating, and they're gamifying it so it's easier to become more obsessive with it, which for me is a huge problem because it feels very Skinner box, where you put the thing in, you get the hit of dopamine, and you're not even getting food anymore. You're just getting the hit of dopamine because you're like, I didn't eat today, so I feel good about myself. And you're still looking in the mirror and you feel fat and overweight. But I think the Healthy at Every Size people put it best on their website. I pulled it up. I'll link it in the description. But it says, let's face facts. We've lost the war on obesity. Fighting fat hasn't made fat go away, and being thinner, even if we knew how to successfully accomplish it, will not necessarily make us healthier or happier. The war on obesity has taken its toll. Extensive collateral damage has resulted: food and body preoccupation, self-hatred, eating disorders, discrimination, poor health, etc. Few of us are at peace with our bodies, whether because we're fat or we fear becoming fat. And I feel like at the end of the day, the body positivity movement, the fat acceptance movement, isn't about enabling obesity, despite what people say. It's about developing a healthy relationship with food and exercise. Mickey Atkins puts this best. It's you listen to your body, you do what your body needs. You sleep when you need to sleep, you eat when you need to eat, you exercise when you need to exercise. And when your body says stop, you don't stop, you listen to it. Yeah, it's going you go to the gym, they're like push through the pain. Well, sometimes the pain is telling you, "Hey, you've been sitting on your ass for 28 years. How about we take this a little more slowly, because if you keep pushing yourself like this, you're going to hit a breaking point, you'll stop, you'll relapse, and then you're just going to feel worse about yourself." Like, say I've done that before. I would come home over college winter break and I would go from eating whatever and not exercising and instead being on TV and art to role play all night to my mom was forcing me to count calories and I had to burn X amount of calories every day. So I would watch Merlin while I walked on the treadmill all day. But it pushed me so hard during that month that, like, the last couple of weeks, I started getting really depressed. I would leave the house under pretense of doing something, go buy junk food because I was relapsing and I was binging in the car to fast when I was at home. And then because I hadn't been listening to my body about how it wasn't used to that much exercise, I was physically hurting so much that in order to beat my mom and make her think that I was exercising, I would let the treadmill run and I would stand on the treads until she came over and then I would walk so that I could give my body a break. She doesn't know that. I don't really get to talk much about the disordered eating habits I have because usually I'm more focused on my anxiety or the fact that I feel like everybody hates me, but obviously that's not true. I've got 18 subscribers now. Where the fuck did you all come from? Hi. But I like how Mickey Atkins puts it in her video about listening to your body, realizing that every emotional eating isn't just certain times, but every time you eat, you invoke emotions, and that's why sometimes it not sometimes, but it's okay to have a relationship with your food. It's important to make sure you don't go overboard, but that's on an individual level. And individual, that's where you hit that wall. Health is an individual thing, and we shouldn't be judging other people's based on what their bodies look like or what a very generalized population survey index thing says about an individual, because it's not accurate. BMI is a sham. End of statement. End of video, essentially. Not end of video, but I'm just going to do closing remarks, so you can end it back then if you want to, because yeah, that was the point of the video. BMI is a sham. My cat really wants to talk to me for some reason, and what you need to do to develop a healthy relationship with food is to tell everybody to shut their stupid mouth and listen to your body. Do exercise. Do incorporate good foods into your diet. I realize it can be very hard with capitalism. You're either working all the time and don't have money, or you just don't have money and you don't have energy to make good, healthy food. But there are websites out there that help you come up with healthy meal plans. And don't be ashamed if, like, once every couple weeks or so, or every week, you have to stop and get McDonald's because you've had a shitty day and you just can't cook. It's okay. Listen to your body, feed your body, and don't listen to the people that say BMI is not a sham, because the moment they say that, you know they're a liar, because they're listening to someone who died way before any of us were even born, and like a century later was already out of date. So I hope this video made at least some sense. I've tried recording it 4 times and I kept going off on tangents, so I tried to make myself a little bullet list of hit points I wanted to hit. Don't know if it helped. Let me know. Otherwise, if y'all got a good name for a dark green tiger barb with a red face and he is a boy, though I will accept female names too. We don't discriminate here. You got a name for this little cutie? Just let us know, and I will try to get a good video of him after we're done with this Fortinbras arc. See y'all later. Bye.